Hello my friends and welcome to 7 super short scary stories from Reddit. Need a quick few stories before bed to give you the chills? Well then do I have a treat for you. Here's 7 super short scary stories from Reddit users. I've always loved nice relaxing showers. The feeling of warm water sliding down my back and makes the tension all go away. Plus, mommy gives me candy if I behave and don't complain. I prefer to shower when I'm home. I love our bath because it has a pretty pink shower curtain, and pink is my favorite color. But I'm a very good daughter, and I behave, so even now that we're on vacation, I will make mommy happy. Camping is a new thing, and I didn't know there were so many other children like me, but I know it's gonna be super fun. I love making new friends. Looks like it's time. I'm not in the front of the line, but that's okay. I can wait. I'm sure my new friend Katie is dirtier than me anyway. The line is moving and Katie is next. She waves from the large bathroom, and I raise my hand to say hi. Yay, Katie's waiting inside with the other children. It'll be my turn soon. This must be a really big campsite. There's so many bathrooms. The children in the other bathrooms are starting to scream. Now I really can't wait. These showers must be extra fun. The guards hauled me up to bed and tied me up. I was blinded. I knew I was gonna die. I've heard from fellow prisoners that officers in this jail often take captives and torture them to death, yet nobody has ever found any proof. I've witnessed prisoners being taken away and never seen by anyone again. Johnny Smith, do you have any last words? I tried to stay calm, but I couldn't. I screamed and I begged for mercy, but no one listened. I kicked and twisted, but my feet were bound tightly on the bed. I could feel the cold blade cut deep into my wrist. Strangely, it didn't hurt, but I could feel the warm blood flowing out from my arteries. A little at first, and then it came pouring out of my wrist. I could hear the sound of my blood dripping onto the floor. My heart was weakening. My life drifted away from me. I opened my mouth and I screamed my last scream. Dr. Jones frowned. This was the 5th body that had been sent from the prison this month. He read the profile. Johnny Smith, 28, convicted of robbery, no known health issues. He examined the body inside and out, no wounds, and the toxicity test proved nothing. Probably died of heart failure. He noticed that the body's wrists were wet with water, but that didn't seem of noteworthy cause either. He stared at the body's face. The mouth and eyes were wide open, a look of pure, intense terror. He sighed and wrote in his report form, cause of death, heart failure, probably induced by fright. I live in an old house in the woods. My husband passed away 3 years ago, so I live here alone. One night I woke up to get water. It's my really old habit, just like the one where I look outside the window to check if the wild dogs are in front of my house, just like I do every night for the past 3 years. But when I look outside the window, I saw something that haunts me to this day. My dead husband was standing there. His pale, wide face and dark eyes scared me to the bone. He just looked behind me, and then he said, "Come out. I really need to tell you something." I have nothing to lose, so I just went out. No one was there, but when I looked in the house, I saw a man who was not my husband, dressed in black, holding a knife. Then I heard my husband's voice. He just said, "Run." Then I turned around, and I ran for my life into the night. During the few months I lived in a rental home, a gorgeous woman with dark curls and red lips would wave from over the fence each day. She was always managing her yard, trimming the roses with shears or pulling weeds with gloves and a straw hat. She was so bright and full of life. I always looked forward to seeing her wave from over the fence. We both liked our privacy, however, and only conversed a few times. All I knew about her was her name, Caroline, and that she lived alone. One day, as I was mowing my lawn, an elderly woman pulled up alongside Caroline's curb. She got out, looking nervous. I turned off my mower. I approached and I asked, "Are you looking for Caroline?" I hadn't seen her all day. The woman stared at me, clearly distraught. You know of my daughter? Sure, she says hello to me every day, but I haven't seen her today. The woman's face scrunched up into a hideous scowl. Tears welled in her eyes. What a cruel joke, she exclaimed. Puzzled, I watched the old woman stomp off. As she approached her daughter's house, I caught sight of Caroline. The old woman, rather than acknowledge her daughter, walked through Caroline's body, up the steps, and let herself into the house. Caroline watched the woman until she was inside with the door closed. Caroline looked sad, but perked up when she saw sight of me. She approached the fence, leaned over it, and she said, "Thanks for always saying hi to me. Living alone really gets lonely." Darkness. It was all I could see. I couldn't tell if it was night or day, so I checked the clock on the bedside table. 12:30 a.m. There was a noise downstairs. My wife was not in bed. I should have stayed in bed. I shouldn't have gone downstairs. But I did. My entire family was in the kitchen, all facing away from me, eating what looked like a group midnight snack. I walked through the doorway into the room. Did you guys all have nightmares or something? All movement ceased. The air went cold. As if in sync, they all turned to me slowly until they were facing me. The first thing I noticed was their smiles, large smiles that didn't reach to their dark eyes. My 9-year-old daughter stood up from the table and walked towards me, still smiling. Her mouth opened, revealing several rows of perfectly pointed teeth. However, it's what she said next that scared me the most. "No, Daddy, we are the nightmares." I'm still alive, you know, nightmares don't kill you. I wish they had. I've been faced with many unspeakable terrors in the few days I've been here. I won't live long. I know, I'm already fading. I can't hold up for much longer, but my message needs to get out. When you wake up in the middle of the night, don't get out of bed. You see, you're on the wrong side of the universe. You're in the nightmare. Just close your eyes and don't open them for anything. Good night. Sleep tight. Doesn't happen every night. In fact, it's very, very rare. I think that's why most people don't even know it exists. I've only seen it a few times, only because I work nights. Occupational hazard, I guess. It's not even close to dawn when it happens. Not really. It's usually in the middle of the night. Early morning. 2 a.m. 3 a.m. It cracks through the window quietly, and it's usually only when you're up late, studying, reading, tossing and turning in bed. You catch it out of the corner of your eye, and you think maybe your eyes are playing tricks on you. And you see little glimmers of light outside, but something that almost fills the whole sky. It's like daylight that came too early. Like a daylight that's not quite... It's not morning, it's not sunlight. And if you catch the sky lighting before it's supposed to, do not look outside. Keep your eyes down. Shut the blinds. Lock the doors. And try not to listen to what's outside the windows. There's nobody out there. It's just the voice of the wind. I go home from work like every day. I make myself dinner, watch some TV, and go to the bathroom. The bathroom mirror was the only one I haven't destroyed yet. I just brushed my teeth in front of it and examined my reflection. Who was it today? I looked into 2 clear blue eyes. She was between 14 and 16 years old. She looked quite happy, and as I smiled, she smiled too. The reflection always does the same move I do, but it's not me in the mirror. In fact, I haven't seen myself in the mirror for ages. I've forgotten what I look like. I turn away from the mirror and I go to bed. The next morning I read the news. Teenage girl, 16, hung herself. There is also a photo of the girl I saw last night in the mirror. It's always the same. I see the reflection of someone in the mirror, and the next morning, I read about their suicide in the newspaper. It wasn't always the same suicide. Sometimes they fell off a cliff. Sometimes they drowned themselves. I got used to it, and it didn't bother me much. I wasn't able to change it anyway, so I drank my coffee and I went to work. In the evening, I stood in front of the mirror again. This time it was a man who looked quite exhausted. He had brown hair, brown eyes. He was probably in his 30s. I went to bed as always and fell asleep shortly after. I woke up in the middle of the night. I dreamed about my wife. She killed herself years ago as I saw her in the mirror. She was the first I ever saw in the mirror. I didn't know what to do. I just laid in bed crying. After all those years, I wasn't able to forget her. I sat on my bed and opened the drawer from my bedside table. I took out my gun and took a deep breath. I held the gun to my head and smiled. Ah, so that's what I looked like. All these stories were taken from a thread on Reddit. If you'd like to read these stories or others, the link is in the description below. That's all the time I have for today, my friends. I hope you're having a wonderful day or evening. I'm Imori, and I'll listen to the spooky tunes.